I'm going to reveal some powerful truths about transforming your life and manifesting your dreams. These secrets are rooted in the very essence of how our minds and bodies interact with the universe. So let's dive into this journey together and explore how you can harness these insights to create the life you've always wanted. Imagine for a moment that you're not waiting for something outside of yourself to change your life. You're not waiting for your success to feel empowered. You're not waiting for your wealth to feel abundant. You're not waiting for a new relationship to feel loved. The key question is, can you believe in a future that you can't yet see or experience with your senses, but that you've imagined so vividly in your mind that your brain starts to believe it's already happening? To truly change your life, you need to teach your body how to feel as though your desired future has already arrived. This means feeling the emotions of your future, success, wealth, and love right now, even though it hasn't physically manifested yet. The fundamental process of manifestation involves two critical components: clear intention and elevated emotion. Let's break this down. The first step is having a clear intention. An intention is simply a vision or a possibility. It's asking yourself, what would it be like to be healthy? What would it be like to have financial abundance? What would it be like to live in my dream home? When you begin to form these questions and visualize the answers, you are setting a clear intention. Write down the details of this vision. Be specific about what you want. Do you want to travel the world? Have great benefits and insurance? Work with inspiring people? Be creative? The more detailed your intention, the clearer your vision becomes, and the more your brain starts to adjust to this new way of thinking. When you focus on your intention and begin to feel the emotions that go with it, you're giving your body a sneak peek of what's to come. Imagine you're planning a big, exciting event in your life, like starting a new job, moving to a new home, or beginning a new relationship. The way you prepare for this change is by experiencing the feelings and emotions connected to it right now. Let's say you want to achieve something amazing, like a new career opportunity or a significant personal transformation. To start, you need to be clear about what you want. This is your intention, what you aim to achieve. But it's not enough to just think about it. You need to start feeling the emotions that go along with your goal. This means imagining how excited and happy you'll be when you reach your goal. For example, if you're dreaming about a new job, picture yourself in that job and how you'll feel. Imagine the excitement, the satisfaction, and the happiness of being successful in your new role. When you focus on these feelings and really let yourself experience them, you're giving your body a taste of what's to come. It's like giving yourself a preview of the future you're working toward. This emotional preview is important because it helps your body start to align with your future reality. Think of it like this: if you want to change something in your life, you have to start living as if that change has already happened. If you want to manifest something big, you need to start feeling the awe and abundance of that future experience right now. Imagine you want to have a new relationship. To attract this new relationship into your life, you need to start feeling love for life and for yourself right now. It's not about waiting until you meet someone new to feel loved and happy. Instead, you should begin to cultivate those feelings within yourself. This means embracing the idea of love and joy in your life even before you see the results in your external world. The key is to emotionally embrace your future reality to such a degree that your body starts to believe it's already living in that reality. This process involves truly feeling the emotions connected to your goal as if they were happening now. If you can make your body believe that you're already living your desired future, you're aligning your whole being with that reality. Now here's where it gets really interesting. To truly change your life, you must be defined by a vision of the future, not by memories of the past. Most people's brains are programmed to reflect everything they already know. If you feel the same way every day, it means nothing new is happening, and those emotions are keeping you anchored to the past. If thoughts are the language of the brain and feelings are the language of the body, then how you think and feel creates your state of being. If you're stuck in the past, you're not moving forward. So can you keep your vision of a better future no matter what your current environment is like or how you usually feel? Can you stay focused on what you want to achieve even if your past experiences and old habits try to pull you back? This is where true greatness happens. It's about aligning your thoughts and feelings with the future you desire instead of letting your past control you. Imagine you have a big goal or dream. Maybe you want to get a new job, improve your health, or build a better relationship. Your current environment might not be ideal for achieving this dream. Perhaps you're facing challenges, dealing with stress, or feeling stuck in your old ways. But despite these obstacles, it's crucial to keep your vision of the future clear in your mind. Maintaining this vision means staying focused on what you want to achieve, regardless of what's happening around you right now. It's about imagining your future success vividly and regularly. For example, if you want to get fit, you might picture yourself being strong and healthy, exercising regularly, and feeling great about your body. Even if you're currently not in the best shape, keep that future vision in your mind. Your past experiences and emotional habits can often hold you back. You might have old beliefs or patterns that tell you that change is hard or that you can't achieve your goals. These past conditions can make it difficult to stay positive and focused. But the key to overcoming this is to shift your attention away from these past influences and toward your future vision. When you align your thoughts and feelings with your future, rather than dwelling on past failures or habits, you start to see real changes. It's like setting a new course for a ship. If you keep steering toward your destination, you'll eventually get there, even if there are obstacles along the way. People all over the world are practicing this approach and seeing amazing results. It's not just something a few people can do, it's a natural, innate ability we all have. By focusing on a positive future and maintaining that vision, we can change our lives. This process might feel challenging at first, especially if you're used to being pulled back by old habits or current difficulties. But with practice, you'll get better at it. Think of it this way: your mind is like a garden. If you plant seeds of future success and nurture them with positive thoughts and feelings, they will grow into reality. However, if you keep focusing on weeds from the past, like doubts or past failures, you'll struggle to see the flowers of your future dream. To make this work, start by clearly defining your vision. What does your ideal future look like? Write it down or visualize it in detail. Then, every day, spend a few moments focusing on this vision. Imagine yourself living this future, feeling the emotions associated with it, and taking actions as if it is already happening. When you combine a clear intention with elevated emotion, your brain and body start living in the future instead of the past. Your thoughts become the electrical charge in the quantum field, and your feelings are the magnetic charge. Together, they broadcast an electromagnetic signature that influences every aspect of your life. The key is to consistently pull your brain and body out of the past and invest your energy into the future. The latest research in neuroscience and neuroplasticity shows us that we can rewire our brains to look as though our desired event has already occurred. By emotionally embracing this future reality, we can signal new genes and change our body to reflect the experience we want. We're not waiting for external circumstances to change how we feel internally. We're creating physical evidence in our brain and body to match the future we desire. Let's take a real-world example. Suppose someone has mismanaged their energy and emotions for years, leading to a health condition. This imbalance over time has programmed their genes into sickness. It took them years to reach this state, so reversing it will also take time. Healing is a process, not an instant fix. It requires practice, repetition, and a deep understanding of how your mind and body interact. When you start practicing meditation and changing your focus, you'll begin to see some changes in your life. At first, these changes might be small, and it might feel like progress is slow. You may wonder if your efforts are making a difference. This is a common experience, and it's important to understand that even small changes are valuable and meaningful. Imagine you're starting a new hobby like fishing. You head to a quiet lake with your fishing gear. You cast your line into the water, hoping to catch a fish. At first, nothing happens. You wait patiently, but there are no signs of a catch. It might feel like you're just sitting there without any results. You could feel tempted to give up because it seems like nothing is working. But then, after some time, you feel a small tug on your line. It's not a big fish, but it's enough to give you a sign that something is there. This small catch is exciting because it shows that your efforts are paying off. You've hooked a fish, and that first success gives you a boost. You start to feel more motivated and confident. You believe that if you caught one fish, there are more out there waiting for you. So you continue fishing with greater enthusiasm and hope. This situation is very similar to what happens when you start meditating. At the beginning, meditation can be challenging. Your mind may wander, and you might find it hard to focus. It may seem like you're not making much progress. You might question whether you're doing it right or if it's worth your time. It's easy to feel discouraged if you don't see immediate results, but as you keep practicing, you might notice small changes. These changes could be in how you feel or how you react to everyday situations. For example, you might start to notice that you're feeling a bit calmer or more relaxed than usual. Maybe you find that you handle stress better or that you're more patient with others. These small improvements are like that first tug on the fishing line. They are signs that your meditation practice is starting to work. Even small changes are important because they show that you're on the right path. Just like catching a small fish makes you want to keep fishing, noticing these small improvements in meditation will inspire you to continue. Each time you meditate, you're taking a step toward a more peaceful and centered mind. These steps build on each other, and over time, you'll see more significant changes. It's important to be patient and persistent. Meditation, like fishing, takes practice and time. You might not see big results right away, but that doesn't mean you're not making progress. Every time you meditate, you're working on improving your mind and emotions. Each session is like casting your fishing line, getting closer to catching something big. As you continue to meditate, you'll become more skilled at it. You'll learn how to focus better and how to manage your thoughts and feelings more effectively. The small changes you noticed at the beginning will become more noticeable and impactful. Just as an experienced fisherman knows how to catch more fish, you'll become more adept at meditation and will experience even greater benefits. Here's the breakthrough. When you consistently practice meditation, you reach a state of pure consciousness. This is when you forget about your appointments, relationships, and past experiences. You become a part of a greater consciousness. In this state, your conscious mind merges with your subconscious mind, where true change happens. If you're trying to heal your body, you need to get beyond your awareness of being a body. If you remain stuck in the identity of being sick, you're just matter trying to change matter, which produces slow results. But when you can transcend your body and work from a higher level of consciousness, you can instruct your body from a place beyond the physical. This is where the magic happens. The secrets that only 1% know involve understanding how to use your mind and emotions to create your desired future. It's about having a clear intention, embracing the emotions of your future reality, and consistently aligning your thoughts and feelings with that vision. By doing this, you rewire your brain, signal new genes, and change your body to reflect the future you want. So, start by clearly defining your intentions and feeling the emotions associated with your future reality. Maintain that vision every day, regardless of your current situation or past conditioning. Picture you get in your mind could be the word job, or it could be just an image that's personal to you, but the image then represents all of those conditions. So you can have several conditions that make up your intention. But the intention typically is a symbol, like you may see a retreat center that you may want to start, and you have a picture of it. But once you see that picture, the next thing that happens, you start to live that dream. The moment you start to take that dream and it turns into a living motion picture, now you're in that imaginary place. What happens is, the moment it starts taking on form and it starts taking on time, you start to experience it. All the things you're going to do, you're actually living in that future, and your brain does not know the difference between the actual event that takes place in your life and what you're imagining in your mind. We call it mental rehearsal in my work. But you're literally rewiring yourself to the future. Now your brain is no longer a record of the past. It's now, in fact, a map to the future. Now most people stop at this level, but there's another level. Because once you have that intention, and I watched you do this, what makes the intention have life is when you combine it with that emotion. Why? Because your body is your unconscious mind. It doesn't know the difference between an experience in your life that creates an emotion and an emotion that you're fabricating by thought alone. And when they do that properly, they do enter the operating system where they can begin to make some really important changes. So most people then wait for crisis or trauma or disease or diagnosis. They wait for loss, some tragedy to make up their mind to change. And my message is, why wait? And you can learn and change in a state of pain and suffering, or you can learn and change in a state of joy and inspiration. I think right now the cool thing is that people are waking up. Most people spend 70% of their life living in survival and living in stress. So they're always anticipating the worst case scenario based on a past experience. And they're literally out of the infinite potentials in the quantum field. They're selecting the worst possible outcome, and they're beginning to emotionally embrace it with fear. And they're conditioning their body into a state of fear. Do that enough times, body has a panic attack without you. You can't even predict it because it's programmed subconsciously. So people become addicted to the rush of those emotions, and they use the problems and conditions in their life to reaffirm their limitations, so at least they can feel something. So now when it comes time to change, you say to the person, "Why are you this way?" Well, every time they recall the event, they're producing the same chemistry in their brain and body as if the event is occurring, firing and wiring the same circuits and sending the same emotional signature to the body. What's the relevance behind that? Well, your body is your unconscious mind. In a sense, if you're sitting down and you start thinking about some future worst-case scenario that you're conjuring up in your mind, and you begin to feel the emotion of that event, your body doesn't know the difference between the event that's taking place in your world, outer world, and what you're creating by emotion or thought alone. So most people then, they're constantly reaffirming their emotional states. So when it comes time to give up that emotion, they can say, "I really want to do it." But really the body is stronger than the mind because it's been conditioned that way. So the servant now has become the master. And the person all of a sudden, once they step into that unknown, they'd rather feel guilt and suffering because at least they can predict it. Being in the unknown is a scary place for most people because the unknown is uncertain. People say to me, "Well, I can't predict my future. I'm in the unknown." And I always say, the best way to predict your future is to create it, not from the known, but from the unknown. What thoughts do you want to fire and wire in your brain? What behaviors do you want to demonstrate in one day? The act of rehearsing them mentally, closing your eyes and rehearsing the action. Rehearsing the reaction of what you want or the action of what you want. The action of what you want by closing your eyes and mentally rehearsing some action. If you're truly present, the brain does not know the difference between what you're imaging and what you're experiencing in 3D world. So then you begin to install the neurological hardware in your brain to look like the event has already occurred. Now, your brain is no longer a record of the past. Now it's a map to the future, and if you keep doing it, priming it that way, the hardware becomes a software program. And who knows, you just may start acting like a happy person. And then I think the hardest part is to teach our body emotionally what the future will feel like ahead of the actual experience. So what does that mean? You can't wait for your success to feel empowered. You can't wait for your wealth to feel abundant. You can't wait for your new relationship to feel love or your healing to feel whole. I mean, that's the old model of reality, of cause and effect, waiting for something outside of us to change how we feel inside of us. When we feel better inside of us, we pay attention to whoever or whatever caused it. But what that means then is that from the Newtonian world is that most people spend their whole life living in lack. When you invest in yourself, you invest in your future. Number one, take some time out of your busy lives to disconnect from your world. Shut your cell phone off, turn the TV off, power down your computer. Sit your body down for a few minutes and close your eyes. Number one. Number two, take some breaths and center yourself. When you center your attention into the present moment, you have more energy to create with. When your mind wanders to the predictable future or the familiar past, that's normal. Just become aware of it. Keep working on settling yourself back down into the present moment. When you're in the present moment, you're the most creative. Number three, ask yourself, can I be defined by a vision of the future instead of the memories of the past? What do I want in my life? And take the time to answer the question. The elevated emotion is the carrier of the thought. So all energy, all frequency carries information. The faster the frequency, the higher the energy, the more elevated the emotion combined with a clearer intention is like a laser, because you're creating a more coherent signature. And we know because we've measured this that when people have a coherent brain and a coherent heart, something amazing is going to happen in their life. It's not just feeling the gratitude, because we know that just having an elevated emotion doesn't affect matter. We know that just the clear intention of seeing something change doesn't affect matter. They've done experiments on this. You have to combine then the clear intention with the elevated emotion. The emotion is the energy, the frequency, the carrier of the thought. The thought is the intent, it is the direction, it is the specific field, frequency. So it's like tuning a radio dial. So if it's all about vibration, it's all about energy. When there's a vibrational match between your energy and that potential that exists in the quantum field, when there's a vibrational match, it's going to find you. Intention is getting clear on what you want. So let's say you want a new home. Let's say you want a beautiful garden. Well, then start ripping out magazine pictures of gardens that you love. Start drawing pictures. Start seeing and start writing down the things that you want. Throw it up somewhere and then add another dream and add another dream. And keep your mind. If you keep your conscious mind on that, your subconscious mind will take you there. Now, I'm not an impatient person, because I know that impatience means I believe that something's not going to happen. But we're here to experience life. We're here to enjoy the magnificence of our creations. And our senses then become the artist that writes the story in our biology. So then, when you start to see that home and that vision, you start making the choices for it, and you step into the unknown, and you become the creator, and you do something that's never been done before. And it brings you joy, and it brings you excitement, and it has meaning behind it. Then your body is always following your mind. So of course it's going to take time, but it's no different than a garden that you tend in your life. You're always going to be pulling weeds out and always going to be pruning branches, and you're always going to be fertilizing and pulling rocks out. But that's the joy of the creation, because you get to eat the fruit of your own creation. So then our senses should be the last to experience what our mind has created. So the intention then represents all the details. But all the details can be summarized in a symbol, a letter, a picture, one picture. And you know that that picture means all of those things because you reviewed all of those things. If you hold the picture, You hold the symbol, you hold the dream house, you hold the dream garden. But you don't say, oh, when this dream garden comes, then I'm going to be happy. You say, the thought I'm having is the experience, and the experience then produces the emotion. And once the emotion begins to occur, now your brain and body are in the future instead of in the past. Once you start opening your heart, it begins to move into coherence. It begins to produce a measurable magnetic field up to 3 meters wide. Now that's frequency, that's energy. And all that energy, that frequency, carries information, carries an intent. So then, when you're feeling gratitude and your heart is open, you're broadcasting energy into the field. That frequency, you lay the intent of the thought of your health and your wealth. That frequency can carry the thought of your wealth. It can carry the thought of your health. If you're suffering, you can't. Suffering does not carry. That energy does not carry the thought of your wealth. It carries a different set of thoughts. If you're going to believe in that future that you're imagining with all of your heart, it better be open and activated, and you better know how to self-regulate. And you have to know the moment you disconnect from the energy of your future because of some circumstance in your life, and you lose that feeling, if you're practicing it on a daily basis with your eyes closed, then the next level is to be able to open your eyes and do it right in the moment and be able to self-regulate and change the frustration from some experience in your life back to the energy of your future. Now that requires great awareness and great effort. But if you have a community of people that are practicing this on a daily basis and they're connected to their future because that's where their mind is, they begin to want the future more than the emotions of the past. Sure, I think we're reality-producing machines. I mean, there's no single individual on this planet who doesn't create reality unless they have a brain injury or something. But for the most part, most of us are engaged in reality, and we do cause effects. I think we reach a certain point in our life where we stop learning and we start feeling. And when we use feelings as a barometer for the unknown, it's contraindicated because feelings are usually a record of a past experience. So we try to predict how that future event is going to be based on a feeling, and we always return back to the old self again. So I love the idea of how we can actually produce effects. I love the idea that every human being either lives in one of two states of mind. We either live in creation, which is growth and expansion, and its health and homeostasis, the emotions of love and joy and trust that make us feel connected to something bigger than us. Or we live in a state of survival, and the state of survival is living in stress. Living in stress is when your body is knocked out of balance, and the redundancy of that cycle over time, that imbalance that keeps happening, begins to break the body down. And I think the biggest problem for us, because of the size of our brains, is we can turn on a stress response just by thought alone, and we do it all day long. In that continuous, redundant being out of balance over time, that imbalance becomes the new balance, and now we're headed for contraction and disease, and feeling separate from the field and being selfish instead of selfless. We begin to live in a state of breakdown, a state of disease and a lack of health. And so then those emotions of those survival chemicals endorse the ego. And then we become more self-indulgent and more self-important and more self-serving, because that's what those chemicals do. So we live in one of those two states of mind. Now those chemicals tend to be highly addictive. So this is a really good dinner conversation. We can talk about it, right? But actually breaking through, that's, I think, when you free yourself from the chains of those emotions that we memorize. When we actually break through, when we remove that mind out of the body, when we break the emotion that's trapped in physical flesh and the body's liberated, that's true self-love. That's true joy. It's the liberation of energy. So the anger that once was in there, the hatred that was once in there, the prejudice that was once in there is transformed. It's transmuted into joy. It's the same energy, but it just has a different spin. And so no one can do that for you. That isn't something where someone waves a wand and then it happens. You have to actually be willing to be uncomfortable as you break that addiction and be okay with it. And then, the moment the body's liberated and you feel that expansion, that's the natural state of being. So you say, I love myself so much because I went further than I thought I could go. I transcended some limitation about myself in the way I think, in the way I act, in the way I feel. That's the personality. That's the identity. Changing one of those things, really changing it. Not just like changing your mind like I want vanilla ice cream instead of chocolate ice cream, but truly changing something that changes your neurology, your neurocircuitry, changes the chemistry, which is your emotions, that signal the gene that begins to change your very expression of health and the very expression of life. Talking about when you make that emphatic declaration where you make that change and it's undeniable. There's a biological, neurological, and quantum effect as a result of it.